Hellion Station floated in quiet orbit above a blue and purple gas giant, like a metal ring wrapped around a sleeping planet. From the outside, it looked peaceful. From the inside, it was never still. Lights, voices, screens, and footsteps filled every corridor. Ships from 100 worlds docked and left again. In all that motion, Aria Vale tried to move like a shadow. She walked fast, head slightly down, shoulders a little hunched. Her brown hair was tied back in a loose knot. Her jacket was too big for her, sleeves long enough to cover her wrists completely. She liked it that way. No one really noticed her. That was the point. Aria worked as a data runner. It sounded important, but it was mostly simple. She carried small encrypted drives from one part of the station to another, dropping them at offices, shops, or private doors. She did not ask questions. She did not open the drives. She just moved. Hellion Station was a good place for someone who did not want to be seen, as long as they paid their rent and did not cause trouble. The station security left her alone. The merchants hardly looked up when she came in. The other runners joked loudly among themselves, but they rarely pulled her into their conversations. Aria preferred it that way. Still, she could not help it. Her eyes always scanned the edges of each room. She checked reflections in metal panels. She listened to the rhythm of the station around her. When a light flickered too long, she noticed. When a panel hummed at the wrong pitch, she noticed that too. There was a reason. Under her sleeves, beneath the soft fabric, lines of light slept inside her skin. They were not tattoos. They were not scars. They were something else. Thin, geometric patterns that followed the lines of her nerves, glowing under the surface like buried circuits whenever certain signals passed nearby. She had learned to hide them when she was very young. "Do not show anyone," her mother had said, voice low and shaking. "Do not trust anyone who sees them. Do not talk about the program. You understand, Aria? You must live normal." So Aria tried to live normal, even though nothing about her was normal. That day began like any other. She woke in her narrow bunk in a small rented cube 2 levels below the main transit ring. The air smelled faintly of recycled filters and metal. Her room held a bunk, a shelf, a small locker, and a fold-out desk that she almost never used. She washed, dressed, and carefully rolled her sleeves down. She checked them twice. No light showed through. She pulled on her jacket, fastened it, slipped her boots on, and picked up her slate. Her job hub was just a small terminal in a busy corridor. Dozens of runners checked in there every morning. Some of them wore bright jackets and shoes that flashed with LED strips. They laughed and pushed each other, talking fast, trading gossip about station rumors and cargo loads. Aria stood a short distance away, watching the task list form on her slate. 6 deliveries this morning, 2 in the market tier, 1 near the docking arms, 1 at a mid-level energy substation, 2 at private residences in the mid-ring housing sector. Good. Spread out. No need for long conversations. She accepted all 6 tasks and moved on. The elevator lifted her smoothly through the station, its glass wall showing glimpses of the gas giant below. Swirling clouds rolled in slow motion as lightning flickers lit them from inside. It was beautiful, but it also made her feel small, like she was one mistake away from drifting into that endless sky. The first deliveries went as usual. A shopkeeper in the market tier signed without looking up from his counter. A tech at a fuel dock nodded in thanks and took the drive with a distracted smile. No one looked twice at her. On the way to the 4th delivery, things began to feel strange. She walked down a long corridor lined with maintenance doors and old hollow panels. Many of them were off. A few showed silent ads. The light strips above her head flickered slightly, then steadied. That was normal. Hellion Station was old in some sections, but then the lights began to flicker again. Not random this time. They blinked in a rhythm. On, off, on, off. A short pause, then 3 quick flashes. The pattern made something in Arya's chest tighten. Her wrists began to tingle. Not now. Please, not now. She pulled her sleeves down, heart beating faster. She walked quicker, eyes down, trying to ignore the faint warmth spreading under her skin. It's nothing, she told herself quietly. Just old wiring, just bad light. She turned a corner and almost ran into a group of people. They stood near the entrance of a wide room lit with red and gold neon. A stylized dragon symbol hovered above the door, its metal body traced in glowing lines. The space beyond looked like a mix between a lounge, a planning room, and a hangout. Screens covered the far wall. Low tables were stacked with data pads and drink cups. Arya recognized the symbol. Everyone on Helion Station did. The Dragon Gang. They were not like the worst gangs on other stations. The dragons were known for their strange rules. They did not allow random harm. They did not let their members bring chaos to the station. They did business, yes, but often they protected parts of the station that security ignored. Many merchants secretly preferred them over official law. Still, Arya tried to stay away from them. Gangs meant attention. Attention meant questions. Questions meant danger. She stepped to the side to pass quickly, her eyes fixed on the floor. "Hold up," someone said. The voice was deep, but not harsh. It came from just ahead of her. Arya froze. Slowly, she looked up. A tall man stood in the doorway of the dragon hangout. He looked human, but there was something sharp about him, as if every part of him was paying attention all the time. His hair was black and cut short, his jawline clean. A thin line of an old, healed mark ran from his left temple to his cheek, not a violent cut, more like a reminder of something long past. He wore a dark coat with the dragon symbol at his shoulder. His eyes were a deep gray, and they were on her. This was Reyes Dracor, the Dragon Gang leader. She recognized him at once. Everyone on the station knew his face, even if they had never met him. Arya held her slate close to her chest. "Excuse me," she said softly. "I need to pass." "There's a delivery node right here," Reyes said, nodding to the wall. "You a runner?" "Yes," she replied. Her palms were sweating. Reyes studied her for a moment. His gaze was not cruel. It was curious. Like he was trying to solve a puzzle. "You look like you know where you're going," he said. "Most new runners get lost in this section." "I'm not new," Arya said. She almost added, "I keep my head down." But she stopped herself. Behind Reyes, a few other dragons sat around a table, watching the conversation. Some had cybernetic implants along their arms or temples. One had delicate silver lines tattooed along his neck. Their attention made Arya's skin prickle. She shifted her weight, ready to move on the moment he stepped aside. As she did, the overhead light above the doorway flickered again. On, off, then 3 quick flashes. Her wrists burned. A faint glow began to shine under her sleeves. She felt it before she saw it, the familiar, dreadful warmth. The marks were waking. No, please stay dim. She pressed her arms close to her sides, but the motion made her jacket sleeve ride up 1/2 inch, just enough for a thin band of light to show at her right wrist. It was small, it was quick, but it was there. Reyes' eyes dropped to that tiny flash. He did not miss it. His relaxed posture changed. He did not move closer. He did not step away. He just became very still, like a sensor locking onto a signal. Arya yanked her sleeve down at once, face flushing. She could feel her heartbeat in her ears. "Sorry," she whispered, though she was not sure what she was apologizing for. I have to go." "Wait," Reyes said. The word was calm, not sharp. It stopped her more than a shout would have. He raised his hands slightly, palms open, as if to show he meant no harm. "No one is going to bother you," he said. "I just saw something." "On your wrist." "It was nothing," Arya said quickly. "Just a reflection." "It wasn't a reflection," Reyes said. His voice was quiet, but there was certainty in it. "I've been watching those lights in this corridor for 3 weeks. They don't flicker like that around anyone else." Arya swallowed. Her mouth felt dry. She could lie. She could try to laugh it off. But something in his eyes told her he would not accept that. He was too used to seeing small signals other people ignored. He led a gang that survived by reading details, by catching what others missed. "Listen," he said, still calm. "You don't have to show me anything. But I need you to hear this. I've seen patterns like that before." Her breath caught. "You have?" He nodded once. "Long time ago, in a different sector, hidden in old databanks, human-only tech. Marks that reacted to certain signal fields?" The word human hit her like a soft impact. Not as a species name everyone used, but in the older way. Earthborn projects, secret programs. She shifted her gaze. "You're mistaken," she said. "I really should go. I have deliveries to make." Reyes seemed to consider something, then took a small step back, clearing her path. "All right," he said. "Go then. I won't stop you." Relief washed through her, mixed with confusion. She took a careful step forward. "But understand this," he added, his voice low enough that only she could hear. "If those marks are what I think they are, you shouldn't be walking around this station alone." Arya paused mid-step. "Why?" she asked, before she could stop herself. "Because the station is waking up," Reyes said, "and only a few people know what that means. People who will want you very, very close to them." His words sent a chill through her that had nothing to do with fear of harm. It was the fear of being seen, of being used, of becoming the center of something she did not understand. She looked up at him again. His face was serious but not cruel, not greedy. There was something else there. Recognition, maybe, or hope. "What do you think they are?" she asked, her voice almost a whisper. He held her gaze. "I think," he said slowly, "you carry the key to a system humans put in place a long time ago. And I think Helion Station is starting to respond to you." She opened her mouth, then closed it again. She did not know what to say to that. Behind them, the dragon symbol above the door gave a soft hum. The light inside its metal lines flickered once, on, off, on. And for the first time, Arya noticed that its pattern matched the faint pulse in her wrists. Her marks warmed again, not painfully this time, more like a quiet answer. Reyes saw the way her eyes shifted to the symbol. He followed her gaze, then looked back at her with a new, sharper focus. "You see it too," he said quietly. It was not a question. Arya's fingers tightened around her slate. For years, she had done everything she could to fade into the background, to be ordinary, to pass unnoticed. But in this moment, standing before the Dragon Gang leader under flickering lights that seemed to breathe in time with the marks under her skin, she felt something shift in the air around her. For the first time, someone had seen the thing she tried most to hide, and instead of fear or anger or desire to control her, his reaction carried something she had never expected: possibility. Arya walked quickly after leaving the dragon hangout, but her mind refused to settle. Every step echoed with Reyes' words. "You carry the key. The station is responding to you." The more she tried to forget it, the more her heart replayed the moment. The way the lights flickered in that strange pattern, the warmth under her skin, the dragon symbol pulsing as if greeting her, and Reyes' steady eyes, watching her without fear. She tried to push all of it aside. She still had deliveries to finish. She still had her quiet life. She still had her promise to her mother. But the world around her seemed different now. The corridor lights hummed gently as she passed. A nearby panel blinked twice when she was close, then stopped the moment she moved on. A small docked drone lifted its head sensor, following her movement like a curious pet. These things never happened before. She hugged her arms tightly to her chest, hiding her wrists. "Not now," she whispered. "Please don't wake now." But her marks continued to glow faintly beneath the fabric, soft but steady, like a heartbeat. The meeting. She couldn't avoid. Her next delivery was in the residential mid-ring, where corridors were quieter and the air smelled faintly of home-cooked meals. Families lived here, shop owners, engineers, teachers, people who didn't spend time in market noise or gang sectors. Arya always felt safer here. She stopped outside Unit 732 and pressed the chime. The door opened with a soft hiss. A tired-looking woman accepted the data drive with a grateful smile. Arya nodded politely and moved on. The next door, Unit 740, belonged to an elderly doctor who often forgot to sign for his deliveries. She knocked. No answer. She knocked again. Still nothing. She sighed gently and leaned her head toward the panel. "Dr. Wren? It's Arya. Your data packet is here." A shuffling sound came from inside. After a long pause, the door slid open just enough for the doctor's wrinkled face to appear. "Ah, yes, yes," he muttered. "Thank you, my dear. Sorry, I was checking some old research notes." He reached for the drive, but as his fingers brushed hers, something strange happened. A soft pulse flickered through the door frame. A faint vibration passed under her feet. The lights in the hallway dimmed for exactly 1 second. Arya froze. Her breath caught. She knew that pulse. It was the same rhythm she felt inside her wrists. The doctor's cloudy eyes widened. His hand trembled slightly. "My dear," he whispered, voice cracking with surprise. "Where did you get those?" Arya pulled her hand back so fast she nearly dropped the drive. "It's nothing," she said quickly. Just a reflection." The doctor stared at her sleeve as if he could see right through it. His expression was not fearful. It was the look of someone recognizing something sacred, rare, deeply human. "Those are resonance lines," he whispered. "But there were only ever a few children in the program. They said the project was canceled." Arya's heart pounded. "You know about the program?" He looked around nervously before answering. "Not much. Only rumors. Only whispers. But I read about them when Earth was still sending out experimental tech teams. They believed humans could interface with lost systems better than any machine." Arya took a step back. I have to go." "But wait," he said, reaching out. "You must be careful." She didn't stay to hear the rest. She hurried down the hall, breathing fast, fingers clutching her jacket sleeves. First Ray's, now the doctor. How many more people would notice? How long until people started asking real questions? Every door closing behind her. She rode the elevator down to the transit ring, trying to calm herself. But when she stepped out, a group of maintenance techs paused mid-conversation and stared at the lights behind her as they flickered. Then one of the ceiling sensors turned toward her. Then a floor panel glowed faintly under her shoes. She quickened her pace. She didn't want attention. She didn't want questions. She just wanted Arya. Her whole body went still. She knew the voice without seeing the face. Ray's stepped out from a supply bay on her left. His coat was unbuttoned now, and his expression looked like someone who expected to find her. Not surprised, not confused, just waiting. She opened her mouth to speak, but the words tangled together. How did you know I'd—" "Because the signals lead here," he said calmly. "I've been tracking the pattern for a long time. And today, for the first time, the pattern moved." Arya felt her stomach twist. "Please," she whispered. "Stop saying things like that. I don't want to be part of any pattern." Ray's stepped closer, not crowding her, just enough for her to hear him over the echoing sounds of the station. "You didn't choose it," he said softly, "but it chose you." "That doesn't make me feel better," she muttered. "Good. It shouldn't, he said honestly, but you deserve to understand what's happening. Arya swallowed hard. You saw the marks. Now what? You want something from me? Reyes shook his head. Not everything is about wanting something. Sometimes it's about recognizing something. His voice was steady and strangely gentle. She didn't know whether to run or stay. Before she could decide, a soft chime sounded above them. The corridor lights brightened, then dimmed, then brightened again, twice, then 3 quick flashes. Arya felt her wrist marks respond, warm, alive. She gasped softly and hugged her arm close, but Reyes was already watching, not with fear but with a quiet understanding. I know those signals, he said. I've seen them in forgotten files, in old codes, in abandoned tunnels under this station. They belong to ancient human systems. Arya stared at him, voice barely above a whisper. I wasn't supposed to tell anyone. You didn't, Reyes said. Your marks did. Truth she never asked for. They stepped into a quieter alcove beside a sealed maintenance corridor. No one else walked near them. The hum of the station felt almost like a heartbeat. Reyes studied her sleeve, then looked into her eyes. Arya, what do you know about your marks? She hesitated. Her mother's voice echoed in her memory. Do not trust anyone who sees them. But something told her that silence was no longer an option, not when the station was waking, not when its lights were speaking the same strange language as her skin. So she took a small breath and told him the truth. I was born into a project, she said quietly. Not a dangerous one, not a harmful one, a research program on Earth. They believed that some humans were born with natural resonance abilities, connections with old tech no one could open. The scientists said a child with the right neural pattern might act like a living link. Reyes listened silently. When I was little, Arya continued, they trained me to read signals, to feel energy lines. But something happened. The program shut down. Everyone left. And my mother hid me before anyone else could. Why hide you? Reyes asked. Because people wanted to study children like me, Arya whispered. Not to hurt us, but not to let us live normal lives either. Reyes nodded slowly, as if each piece of her story slid into a place he already suspected existed. And now the station is reacting to you, he said, because you're close. Arya hugged her arms. I didn't want this. I know, he said gently, but you're not alone anymore. She blinked. What does that mean? Reyes rested one hand lightly on the sealed maintenance door. Come with me. There's something you need to see. The hidden doorway. The door in front of them looked like any old maintenance panel, dull metal, scratched, forgotten. Arya had never seen anyone use it. Reyes entered a manual code on the side panel. Nothing happened. He tried another. Still nothing. Arya watched, confused. Why are you showing me a locked door? Reyes stepped back, gesturing toward it. Because it's not locked. It's asleep. Arya frowned. Asleep? Just touch it, he said. I don't want to activate anything, she whispered. You already have, Reyes replied softly. She hesitated. Then slowly she reached out and pressed her palm to the cold metal. At first, nothing happened. Then, a pulse rippled under her hand. A soft light glowed beneath the surface, outlining her palm print in faint blue. Arya gasped. The door slid open, not with a mechanical grind, but with a smooth, ancient hum, like a machine older than the station itself. Reyes watched her with quiet certainty. I knew it. The corridor beyond the door glowed with dim, warm lights, not the station's usual lights, older, human. Arya stared into the hidden passage. I didn't want any of this, she whispered, voice shaking. Reyes stepped beside her, not to push her, not to lead her, but to stand with her. I know, he said, but your life was never small. It was only waiting. Arya's pulse echoed in her wrists, matching the soft lights of the forgotten hallway. She took one small step inside. Her fate followed close behind. The hidden hallway stretched out in front of Arya like a long-forgotten memory. Soft blue lights ran along the floor, glowing gently as she stepped forward, almost as if welcoming her. The air felt different here, cleaner, warmer, filled with a quiet hum that reminded her of a distant heartbeat. Reyes walked beside her in calm silence, giving her space but staying close enough that she didn't feel alone. Every few steps, he glanced at her with a look that mixed curiosity, respect, and something she couldn't name yet. Arya hugged her arms around herself. "I don't understand any of this," she whispered. "You're doing well," Reyes replied softly. "And these tunnels, they're reacting to you. That's important." She wished the attention wasn't on her. She wished she could go back to being invisible. But step by step, the hallway seemed to pull her deeper, like a gentle hand guiding her toward something she had once been meant to find. A place untouched by time. The further they walked, the more the architecture changed. The walls no longer looked like Helion Station's usual panels. These ones were smooth, almost like molded stone with metallic veins. Some sections held faint shapes, patterns that matched the lines under her skin. She paused when she noticed that. "Reyes, look." He leaned closer, his gray eyes widened as he traced a finger near the pattern without touching it. "It's the same style, the same geometric language." Arya ran her covered wrist over the symbol, and the wall shimmered softly. She pulled back. "Why does it respond to me?" "Because the system recognizes you," Reyes said. "Humans built this. Not the station engineers who work here now, not the alien tech teams. Your marks are the key." She stared at him, breath unsteady. "But I'm just a data runner." Reyes shook his head. "You're much more than that." The hallway opened into a wider chamber. It was circular, with a high ceiling that glowed faintly like starlight trapped in metal. At the center stood a tall column made of layered crystal and metal coils, wrapped in soft blue light. It looked ancient and alive at the same time. Arya stepped toward it without meaning to. Her palms felt warm, almost drawn to the structure. "What is this?" she asked. Reyes walked around the column slowly, observing every detail. "I think this is the heart of the old human framework. The early colonists must have installed this when Helion Station was first built." "But why hide it?" Arya asked. "Why bury it under everything?" Reyes stopped walking and met her eyes. "Maybe they didn't want anyone to use it before the right person was born." Arya felt her stomach twist at the idea. "That sounds too big, too strange." "Maybe," he agreed, "but nothing about this place is small." The past speaking through silence, Arya stepped closer to the central column. The light inside it pulsed gently, almost in rhythm with her breathing. Her wrist tingled softly. She glanced at Reyes. "What if something goes wrong?" "It won't," he said simply. "How do you know?" "Because you haven't harmed anything so far." His voice was steady, trusting. "You only wake things that want to be woken." Arya's chest tightened. No one had ever spoken about her abilities like that before. Not with fear, not with suspicion, with trust. She took a slow breath and placed her hand on the glowing column. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a gentle warmth spread across her palm. The lights in the room brightened. A low hum filled the chamber, growing warmer, softer, clearer. Arya didn't move. She didn't feel scared. She felt understood. As if the machine wasn't talking with words, but with emotion. Calm, steady, welcoming emotion. Reyes stood nearby, watching carefully. His coat rustled softly when he stepped back, giving the space to her. The column shimmered, and suddenly the floor beneath them lit up with thin lines of light, forming a circular pattern. Blue, gold, and white traced across the ground, connecting to panels along the walls. Arya felt a soft pulse in her wrists. Her marks glowed beneath her sleeves. A voice filled the chamber, not loud, not mechanical, soft, human, like an echo from across generations. User recognized. Arya's breath caught. The voice continued, warm and gentle. Lineage verified. Earth origin resonance detected. Welcome, Arya Vale. Her knees almost gave out. Rays moved closer but didn't touch her, letting her stand on her own. How does it know my name? Maybe your signature is unique, Rays said. Or maybe your ancestors activated something similar long ago. Arya felt a lump in her throat. She had never known much about her family history. Her mother rarely spoke of the past. Now the past spoke back. A message from long ago. The column glowed brighter and a holographic figure slowly appeared, faint, flickering, shaped like a scientist in old Earth uniform. The woman in the hollow looked tired but hopeful, hair tied back, eyes warm. She began to speak. If you are seeing this, then our predictions were correct. Humanity once feared losing its place in the galaxy, not from war but from becoming irrelevant. Our early explorers discovered technologies older than any civilization, systems that answered only to human resonance patterns. Arya listened with shaking breath. We seeded pieces of these systems into new colonies, not to control them, but to leave a path for future humans who could understand. Only those with the natural resonance gift, those born once in a generation, could unlock these cores safely. Ray's expression shifted from curiosity to awe. The hologram continued. If you stand here, then you are one of them, and Humyn Station has waited for you. The hollow flickered, then faded. Silence filled the chamber. Arya pressed her hand against her chest. All this time, I thought my marks were a mistake. Rays stepped beside her. They're not a mistake. They're a map. She looked at him, confused. A map. To who you truly are, he said. To what you're meant to learn. Her heart tightened. Rays, I don't want to be special. He smiled softly, not mocking, not dismissing. A quiet, understanding smile. Being special doesn't mean losing yourself, he said. It means discovering more of who you already are. Awakening the hidden core. The central column pulsed again. Thin panels around the chamber slid open, revealing consoles and glowing data streams. Arya approached one console. The symbols made no sense at first, but when she raised her hand, the screen shifted into a simple pattern she could understand. Shapes instead of numbers, lines instead of codes. It's adjusting to your mind, Rays observed. I think it wants me to connect, Arya whispered. She placed her fingertips lightly against the console. A wave of warmth flowed through her, not painful, not overwhelming. It felt like stepping into sunlight after years of shade. Panels around the chamber lit up brightly. The quiet hum of the core grew stronger, alive, awakened, steady. Rays shielded his eyes slightly as the light settled into a warm glow. What did you do? He asked. Arya withdrew her hand, voice trembling with awe. I activated it. What does that mean? Arya looked around the chamber. Her marks glowed gently beneath her sleeves. It means Humyn Station now has access to the systems the early humans left behind. Energy grids, shield networks, data archives, everything waiting for someone with my signature. Rays let out a slow breath. You just became the most important person on this station. Arya shook her head quickly. No, I don't want power. I don't want attention. Rays stepped closer, his voice steady and warm. Then we'll make sure you get guidance, not pressure. Support, not control. She felt herself relax for the first time since the hallway opened. A new door opens. The chamber shifted and another door opened on the far side, wide, glowing with gentle light. Arya hesitated. Should we go in? Reyes looked at her with quiet certainty. Only if you want to. She took a breath, then nodded. As they walked toward the open doorway, she felt something inside her ease. Not fear, not confusion. Purpose. The station no longer felt like a place she was hiding in. It felt like a place she was meant to understand. Her fate had changed the moment Reyes saw the marks she tried to hide. But now, walking deeper into the glowing corridor with him beside her, she realized something else. Her fate wasn't only changing, it was beginning. The new corridor opened into a breathtaking chamber unlike anything Arya had ever seen. It wasn't large, but it felt endless because of the gentle light reflecting across its curved walls. Soft gold lines glowed under the surface like warm veins. The air hummed with a steady rhythm, calm and inviting, as if the room had been sleeping for decades and had finally woken up. Arya stepped inside slowly. Her marks warmed beneath her sleeves, reacting to the environment with a soft, steady glow. She felt no fear, only a strange, peaceful certainty. Reyes followed beside her, glancing around with quiet amazement. This place, it doesn't match the rest of the station at all. It doesn't feel like a station, Arya said softly. It feels like something older. Reyes nodded. Something meant to be found only when the right time and the right person arrived. She gave him a nervous smile. You keep saying things like that. Because they keep being true, he replied. The heart of Helion. The chamber held only one object, a round table-like structure at the center made of layered crystal. A thin mist floated above it, shifting in gentle spirals. It looked like a memory waiting to be touched. Arya approached it slowly. I think this is the core. Reyes raised a brow. The core of what? Of everything the early humans built here, she said. This must be the system that controls the hidden network. She reached out, hesitating only a moment before placing her palm on the surface. The mist cleared instantly. The entire room brightened. Glowing symbols and lines rose from the table in soft, holographic streams, forming maps, patterns, and constellations she didn't recognize. A warm voice filled the chamber, different from the earlier recording, more direct and clear. System integrity restored. Human resonance confirmed. Core operational. Arya pulled her hand away slightly, but the light followed her fingers like gentle threads. It's responding to you, Reyes said quietly. Arya let out a shaky breath. I don't know how to use any of this. You're already doing it. I'm just touching it. Reyes smiled. Some systems don't need commands. They need connection. His voice was steady, warm, and grounding. Arya found herself relaxing, her shoulders lowering as she let the table read her signature. A series of soft tones chimed around them. Resonance user, Arya Vale, authorization granted, accessing Ancestor Archive. Arya blinked as the holograms shifted into images. Families boarding early colony ships, engineers installing hidden cores under new stations, scientists studying resonance children like her. She saw glimpses of people with glowing wrists, each one different but connected by the same gift. She saw research labs filled with laughter and hope, not fear. She saw a vision of Earth's early explorers working together to create technology that would protect future generations. Tears blurred her vision. Reyes stepped gently closer. Are you all right? Arya nodded. This is everything my mother never told me. Everything she tried to hide to keep me safe. You deserved to know, he said softly. Arya wiped her eyes. I never thought my ability meant anything good. I always thought it made me strange. Reyes looked at the glowing symbols around them. Arya, This isn't strange. It's extraordinary. Her voice trembled. What am I supposed to do now? Everyone on this station will want to know about this. Some will want to use it. Reyes stepped closer, lowering his voice. You don't answer to them. He nodded at the glowing core. You answer to this, to your choice. The choice that was always hers, Arya, took a deep breath. My choice? Yes, Reyes said simply. This system belongs to you now. You decide what happens next. Not a corporation, not a council, not a gang, not even me. The honesty in his voice made her chest warm. For most of her life, she'd been hiding because she feared exactly this moment. Being noticed, being needed, being pushed into something too big. But now, standing in this quiet, glowing room with the core responding to her touch, the fear wasn't as strong as she expected. She wasn't alone this time. She placed her hand back on the table. The symbols shifted and reorganized, forming a simple interface her mind understood. I can stabilize the station's energy grid, she said slowly. Improve shield efficiency. Unlock safe networks that haven't worked in decades. Reyes' eyes widened slightly. You can do all that? I think I already am. She pointed as the walls glowed brighter. It's linking to me automatically. Arya, Reyes said, awe in his voice, you could make this station safer than it's been in years. Arya's heart beat faster, but not from fear this time. Excitement. Hope. Maybe this is why the early humans created resonance children, she whispered. Not to control anyone, but to help people. Reyes nodded. Then help them, on your terms. She looked at him with gratitude. How do I even tell the station council about this? Let me handle that part, Reyes replied with a calm confidence that made her smile. They don't intimidate me. You're not afraid of anything, are you? She asked. Not true, he said, giving her a small, warm smile. I was afraid you'd walk away before understanding how important you are. Her breath caught. She glanced away, cheeks warm. Together at the center, Arya raised her hands above the core, and the lights responded immediately. She guided them gently, like moving soft water. The chamber hummed in harmony. Energy channels opened across the station. Backup systems came alive. Shield grids synced into a stable pattern. Sleepy data hubs blinked awake one by one. Arya felt the station breathing through her marks. Reyes watched her with a quiet pride she didn't expect. You're bringing the whole place back to life. I can't believe this is real, she said softly. It's real, Reyes replied, and they'll all know soon. The return to the light. When the chamber finally dimmed to a calm glow, Arya stepped back from the core, exhausted but smiling. It's done, she said. What did you do exactly? Reyes asked. Everything I could without changing too much, Arya explained. The station is safer now, stronger, more balanced, but the deeper systems will stay locked unless I open them intentionally. That's good, Reyes said. Some people would misuse too much power. Arya nodded. I won't let that happen. She looked around the room one more time before turning toward the exit. For the first time, she didn't feel afraid of this place, or of herself. The hallway lights glowed softly as they walked out, as if saying goodbye and thank you. A future built with her choice. When they returned to the main corridors of Helion Station, the difference was visible immediately. Lights that had always flickered before were steady. Doors that sometimes stuck opened smoothly. System panels glowed with soft health status green. People were already whispering. Did the station just stabilize? The energy surge. Did you see it? What happened? Everything feels better. Arya pulled her jacket closer around her wrists. Are you ready for this? Reyes asked gently. She took a deep breath. I don't know, but I know I can't hide anymore. That's enough, he said with a small smile. Arya looked up at him. What about you? You've helped me more than anyone. Reyes shrugged lightly. I didn't do much. You believed me, Arya said. That mattered. He paused, meeting her eyes. Then I'll keep believing in you, whatever happens next. She smiled, a real bright smile she hadn't felt in years. Then let's see what happens. A new beginning news spread fast across Helion Station. Arya didn't expect fame. She didn't expect attention, but instead of fear or demand, what reached her first was gratitude. Engineers asked for her advice. Merchants thanked her for stabilizing power levels. Even the station council requested a calm, respectful meeting, not to control her, but to understand how they could protect her work. Reyes stayed at her side, not as a leader guarding her, but as an ally making sure no one pushed her into anything she didn't want. And Arya, for the first time in her life, walked with her head high. Her marks were no longer something to hide. They were a link to humanity's past and a guide to humanity's future. She wasn't a key to be used. She was a bridge, a new light, a beginning, and her fate had changed forever the day one person saw her marks and chose to see her instead of fear her.